Hi, I'm Christina.
And I'm Catherine.
And we are wine representatives for Republic National Distributing Company. And Uncle Robbie approached us to do a wine tasting for his favorite clients. And we got very excited because we love a little vino and cheese.
Yes.
So we're very excited to taste these today.
And one thing that we love to do with our Uncle Robbie, that we all share a love for wine. So any family events, anytime we're together, we come together, bring our favorite wine and drink. So we wanted to share that with you. And that is why we decided to do a little cheese and wine pairing.
And like twins, we think everything matters in twos. So we will drink around the world and pair each one with a different kind of cheese for a different region. And we'll start with the California Chardonnay.
So, like Christina said, we'll be starting with Stonestreet Chardonnay from Alexander Valley in Sonoma. So when most people think of Chardonnay from California, you think of the same thing, beautiful, oaky, delicious.
Butterbomb.
Yes. So when most people think of Jackson family wines, they'll probably think of Kendall Jackson Chardonnay, which they should. It's pretty affordable, it's a great wine, you can find it anywhere. So back in 1983, when that was the first vintage of Kendall Jackson, it was really premium, expensive wines, or inexpensive jug wines, which these days thankfully have kind of gone away. Well, Kendall Jackson, Jess Jackson, who started it, wanted to make a wine that was affordable, premium, and something you can drink Monday to Friday, which back then was more of a, a celebration or occasion to drink wine. So then whenever he made his first, he bought a vineyard in Lake County in the early 1970s, planted Chardonnay grapes, made his first vintage, and it started with him. He drove around the country selling this wine, and his first sales call was at the Gran Central Station at their oyster bar. They loved it, they put it on the menu, and it's still there today. That same year, they won a platinum medal for their Chardonnay, and it's been the #1 Chardonnay for over 26 years, which is pretty incredible. So the way they make their wine, they're the only American winery and family to own a French stave mill in France, so all of their wines are made with French oak. So their KJ, which is their everyday wine, and their most expensive wine, which speaks highly of the family. So when you kind of give it a little swirl, it allows the wine to open up. So give it a little sniff.
Delicious.
Delicious. So for me on the nose, I'm not gonna get, oh my gosh, so much butter. I kind of get more,
You get the French oak.
you get the French oak, be a little more salinity. You kind of get some pears and like lighter fruits.
And baking spice.
Okay. So then take a little sip.
It's amazing.
So you get a little toffee, you kind of get more like baked caramel, baked apple, a little more cooked fruit. But the best thing about this Chardonnay is the high acidity, which is a beautiful pairing with food. As in cheese, so the cheese we're pairing with the Stonestreet Chardonnay is Camembert. Similar to Brie, so it's a soft cheese, but it's super creamy. Well, cream loves cream, and acidity cuts creaminess. So this Chardonnay, a sip of this and a bite of that just is a perfect balance.
Stonestreet is the maiden name.
Yes. Jess Stonestreet Jackson, and then his son, Christopher Stonestreet Jackson, which is the oldest son. Him, his wife, and son actually run the vineyard. So, Kendall Jackson, that was the first namesake, and now this one's their more premium vineyard. It's one of the highest mountain vineyards in California. It's like 2,400 feet. The two vineyards that sit on the bottom is Silver Oak and Peter Michael, and actually one of the clones is Peter Michael for this wine. So, we know the juice is good, and like I said, it's high elevation fruit, no valley floor, so it's a super complex, amazing wine, and taste it for yourself and pair with the cheese, it's perfect.
And the winery, if you ever go to Sonoma, I previously went Labor Day weekend when the fires were going on, and the fire stopped for 1 week, and that's when we went. And they could not serve any food because of COVID at the winery. So the brand ambassador went to his favorite deli and got roast beef sandwiches, turkey sandwiches, Lay's potato chips, I think Doritos, and we paired it with Stonestreet Sauvignon Blanc and Chardonnay and Cabernet. All three of the varietals, and it was delicious. And hopefully we can show a picture of the winery on this video so you can see how beautiful it is, but it's an amazing place to see.
So everyone eat your cheese and take a sip because that was the best bite ever.
Yeah. So now we're gonna start in one of my favorite wine regions, France. And it's gonna be the Loire Valley. And I'm pretty geeky when it comes to French regions. And to say she's really knowledgeable about French wines, very much more than I am. I used to be obsessed with Sauvignon Blanc. And then she's like, you would love Sancerre and all that good stuff. So my first love affair with Sancerre was Delaporte. And now the Rosé, I'm excited. It's a great producer. So the Loire Valley is a very long region, and there's 4 main sections, and Sancerre is all the way to the east. So they're known for Sauvignon Blanc. If you see 100% Sancerre, you know it's Sauvignon Blanc great. But they make a little red, and it's Pinot Noir. So this rosé is 100% Pinot, all hand harvested.
Pretty color.
And it's a beautiful color because they macerated. Okay, so for a red wine, you macerate the juice from the grape and the skins, and you extract all the color, the intensity, and it gets a really, really deep red. That's like 2 or 3 weeks. For rosé, it's like 2 to 4 hours. And this one's like very, very, very green, which hence the pretty color. Delicious. So this comes from Chabagnon. So the classification system in France, like a Bordeaux, you would get Premier Cru, Grand Cru, and Village level. For Loire Valley, there's 0 of that. But there's one sub-region in Sancerre that's amazing, and it's called Chabagnon. Okay. And they actually make an amazing goat cheese, which is what we'll pair it with. And so when you smell this rosé, which some rosés in today's world are kind of hot, and a very short finish, and too much fruit or almost sweetness, this is 100% dry. On the nose, you'll get raspberry, peach, mostly red fruit.
Smells like outside, porch, different.
In Louisiana, it's always 100 degrees, maybe 90, so rosé season's year round. You smell your red fruit, the palate, more citrus. A little more citrus, but still that red fruit, strawberry, raspberry.
Long finish.
Oh, long finish for rosé. It's really good. So for this cheese pair, we're gonna jump to Spain, and we're gonna taste their goat cheese called Cana De Cabra. And there's actually a goat cheese made in Noir Valley, and it's called Boucheron, and it's made the same way. It's in a log, and you cut it, and it's big, thick slabs. It's that saying, it's pretty a dense cheese, and it's kind of tangy, a little citrus. It's very creamy,
Like coat your entire mouth.
It's delicious. So a bite of this, the acidity from the rosé, and that same citrus kind of fruity flavor will really be a good pairing. And it kind of makes sense. This is from Spain, but its identical twin sister is in Loire Valley.
Okay, that's perfect. Good. Literally creamy, coats the palate, and that cuts it beautifully. And the fruit pairings are awesome. So that is a great pairing. You will eat the whole thing.
It really takes 2 in life to make everything
make it better.
So the next one we're going to be moving from our light and refreshing whites and rosé, and we're going to go to reds. So we were in California, jumped to France, back in Oregon.
Yep. So Jackson Family Wines, like I stated earlier, they started back in 1983, and now they have over 40 wineries. So they're not just known for KJ. So I put that there so you can see. They're not just known for KJ. So this is one of their Oregon properties that is phenomenal and has done amazing things. Gran Moraine, their accolades. I mean, 94 points, Wine Spectator, 92, Robert Parker. So people love this wine. They were bought out by Jackson in like 2013, and the business has done amazing things. They have a Pinot Noir and a Chardonnay.
And their Chardonnay, if you've never had an Oregon Chardonnay,
Delicious.
Gran Moraine.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
It's a good place to start.
I think Oregon Chardonnay might be the next big thing. We'll see, but they're doing really big things out there. So Jackson really bought this. Shane Moore is their winemaker. He jams out to music all day, every day in their winery in the vineyard, and he's an amazing winemaker and awesome person. He creates perfect juice, as you can see and taste in this glass. So Gran Moraine, the thing that I love about them is they do 20% of all fruits full stem fermentation. So what that means, they keep the stems on the grapes when they make this wine. So a winemaker explained it to me, instead of just throwing an outfit on somebody, you kind of put a corset. So it structures the wine, kind of keeps that firmness, the structure, but it also has that sexiness, and it's delicious.
Or which is like it's a less feminine way to describe it. When you cook a chicken with bones, it has more flavor and more intensity. So when you ferment grapes with stems, it's a little more.
Yes. So anyway, Gran Moraine, all their wines have a little tannin. The difference with them in California Pinot is most California has a little more red fruit. They're tough. So they're in the Yamhill Carlton, which is northern Willamette Valley. And they're like tucked in the eastern part of the coast range, so they're protected from the Pacific wind, rain, and even sunlight. So it's more cooler there. So instead of getting that jammy red fruit, you're actually gonna get predominantly black fruit, a little black spice, and like kind of cacao. So
It's a big boy Pinot.
It is a big boy Pinot. So again, on the nose, you are gonna get kind of like that black fruit, blackberry. But then when you take a sip,
Yeah, earthy. It's not that jammy that you have in California or too much, not that fruit attack. It's more earthy, forest floor, kind of that Burgundian style. So you get kind of that French.
good comparison. Shane, the winemaker, says is Gran Moraine's having 1 foot in Europe and 1 foot in America.
Perfect.
So it kind of balances both. So on the palate,
Silky, smooth.
you get cherry, you get a little red fruit, but you still get that darker fruit, a little more of the tannin, and the finish is just delightful. It's amazing. So the cheese we're going to pair with this wine is Gruyère, and the reason for this is, well, most Pinot bars, if you know what cheese goes with that, it's all going to be sheep's milk. It goes best with Pinot. But Gruyère actually has that same medium firm texture and a little nuttiness. So that nuttiness really pairs for you with all
The
Pinots.
nuttiness.
Yeah. So this
Like
is
the
the
earthiness, the nuttiness, and the black on the end.
Yeah.
That's delicious. So now we're gonna finish up the tasting with one of my favorite wines and my favorite restaurant in my favorite city. So Italy, like I said, Loire Valley was amazing to me, but Italy is really my love language for wine. Anything Italian, she will be jump all over. Compared to any California, Oregon, nothing beats it. Bordeaux, she just is obsessed. So this specific wine, Tenuta San Guido Guidalberto, is Sassicaya's, I guess, little brother, you could say. So Sassicaia, the winery is Tenuta San Guido, and they made this wine. It was the first super Tuscan. So in Tuscany, you make wine with Sangiovese grape, and in Piedmont, you might use Nebbiolo. And they said, I want to make something more Bordeaux-like. And that was kind of they're rule breakers. And so they said, so in Bordeaux, here's Bordeaux. In the south part, it's a place called Gran. And it's called Gran because the terrain's very gravel-like. It's the name, easy to understand. And that's great for Cabernet Merlot and Cabernet Franc. And so this winemaker said, in Tuscany, it's very stony, which Sassicaia is stony ground. Very similar
I know
to
that.
Bordeaux. And so he planted Cabernet Sauvignon. So Sassicaia, years and years ago, he made Sassicaia. It was all Cabernet Sauvignon, a little Cabernet Franc, and just for the family. And they're like, we need to make great wine, we need to drink it, and they loved it. The first super Tuscan. It's in Bulgaria, Tuscany. Then generations passed, and they said, we have to share this with the world. We have to. They made a few more cases, shipped it out. People freaked out. Well, then they thought, this is an age-old wine, what Sassicaia is, and we want something a little softer and more affordable. And I can't drink Sassicaia every day. I mean, I could. That's important. And so when they added Merlot to the Guidalberto, it softened it and makes it a little younger. So you don't have to age it that long. So this one's 60% Cabernet Sauvignon, 40% Merlot, and it's going to be, I guess you could say, Bordeaux-like. It's Bordeaux varietals, but you still get that Italian personality in it. So it's tannic, but not too tannic. Soft, not too soft. Perfect. It's perfect. So when we give this one a little swirl, and you go on the nose, you'll get that black fruit, get the vanilla, get the oak. It's a little rustic, a little, I know it's Bordeaux-like on the nose. It's Bordeaux-like, but it smells like Italy. Smell. On the palate, everything in Italy is good. It's big and bold and nice and gentle. It's amazing. So this wine, because I think the Merlot softens the Cabernet Sauvignon a little bit, and it makes the tannin is not as bold. You can still decant it. You could probably age this for 5 more years, but right now it's tasting. And this vintage is 2018. Oh, cool. So you definitely age it now. So we're gonna pair this with Pecorino Romano. Super Tuscans, you want salt. We all love salt, especially in Louisiana. Italians do too. So this big bold wine, you want to pair with the salty cheese, which is this one. So it's kind of a harder cheese, not as soft as the original ones. Very different. Very different. It should be a good pairing. Perfect.
You don't want to have too much cheese overwhelming the wine. So it's kind of a little more slight flavor, but it goes perfect with that. Yum.
That is so delicious.
Yes, I have to give a test to my sister knowing a lot more about old world wines. And she has making me fall in love with Italy and Italian wines and all that good stuff. So I've tasted a lot and I'm drinking a lot with her. And this might be one of my favorites. Maybe because it's Bordeaux varietals, I don't know, but delicious. So unfortunately, that was the last of the wines. I wish we had 12 wines and not just 4. But thank you so much for tuning in, watching our first ever wine and cheese pairing. I think we'd much rather have been there in person.
But COVID makes life very different. And so everyone's adjusting, trying to make social living more social, even virtually. So thank you for joining us. And we like to end every really fun gathering with a cheers. Cheers.
So cheers. Hope you enjoy, and hopefully there'll be many more of these in the future. So thank you very much.